Hello everybody, welcome to your Championship hot takes for round 22. There is a lot to talk about, only one draw so far, so I've got many winners, including the entire top four who've put themselves a nice little gap in there. Sheffield Wednesday and Millwall had good wins in 9th and 10th. QPR keep up their great one. Luton late win on Friday night, big wins for Pompey and Hull at the bottom. We want to talk about all of those things. Get your views in the comments. I really want to hear from you if you were at a Championship game yesterday or indeed on Friday night. As usual, Sunday housekeeping. We've got one game to go, West Brom. Bristol City, that's the deal. We do this on Sunday morning, so you're not going to hear about that game because it hasn't happened yet. You are going to hear about the top four, and they all won. And for the first time, I'm sitting here thinking, is this actually similar to last season where we had an absolute freak show of a top four and excessively high points totals and 3 parachute teams and 1 team going with them? There are a few parallels, which I'm going to talk about in just a sec, but fair play the top four. The gap is now 6 points from 4th to 5th, although Blackburn do have a game in hand. In the comments right now, is this the final top four? Those boys down there, Sheffield United, Leeds, Burnley, Sunderland, is it done? Are they just better than everybody else? It looks that way, doesn't it? So all 4 of them winning. The top 3 are all at 2 points per game or more. And Sunderland are at 1.95. So normally our promotion standard or our automatic promotion standard, if you're 2 points per game and you're hitting 92, you're there. Everybody is projecting big things. Yes, I understand projections always kind of just drop off a little bit, and not many teams get the 110 points they're projecting to get in September, do they? But we're nearly at the halfway mark. We will indeed be at the halfway mark after the Boxing Day round. What's really interesting about this lot of the top 4, they never lose at home. They have played a combined 43 home games, Blades, Leeds, Burnley, Sunderland, and lost once. It was just Burnley going to Leeds. 34 wins in 43 home games for these 4. Sam was talking about the lack of away wins in the Championship. Maybe this is a reason why, where the teams right at the top are just not losing at home. And look, here is a bit of statistical data that at the moment argues, do what you like with statistical data, but at the moment it argues that these 4 are going to get more points than Leicester, Ipswich, Leeds and Southampton did in that ridiculously high standard promotion race last season. So they got 370 combined between the 4 of them. The projection at the moment, and I'm going to exclude the -2 because I'm talking about the standard. I'm talking about how many games are won and points on the board. Well, look, I don't even need to remove the -2 because it's 380. It's 10 more points at the moment. It's 104.5 for Sheffield United, 94 for Leeds, 92 for Burnley, 89.9 for Sunderland. So, look, there will be a drop down. There's always a little slight drop down. Certainly when you're talking about 4 teams, they're not all going to keep banging the points out, are they? But right here, right now, that's the hottest of hot takes you can get. This season's top 4 race is hotter than last season's top 4 race. And we thought last season's would never, ever be repeated. Let's just go through one by one. Sheffield United outstanding. Off they go to Cardiff. Kiefer Moore against his former club. 2 goals. First one, brilliant. Chest down. Drills. Swivels. Left foot. Half volley. Top corner. 15 clean sheets, Mike Cooper. I don't know if he's got all of them, but 15 clean sheets for Sheffield United. We always give Cooper the plaudits. In goal, goalkeepers don't get enough credit, do they? They get blamed for everything and not enough credit. So they go 9 wins in 11 for the Blades. They're in absolutely astonishing form. And those 9 wins in 11 have come since they had the back-to-back defeats against Leeds and Middlesbrough. They've bounced back brilliantly. They would be on an ungodly total if it hadn't been that tiny, tiny little slip, wouldn't it? And look at the projections. The -2, obviously they've got a 3-point lead. It would be a 5-point lead. Chris Wilder was pointing out in his post-match that they are at 50 points before the halfway mark. we're looking at a 100-point season for Sheffield United. They're doing absolutely brilliant. Leeds fans are probably thinking, wrong place, wrong time again. And, would like a title win, I'm sure, this year. Leeds, if they get up in second, I'm sure they'll be absolutely fine with that and take the promotion and move on. But they've got a team doing absolutely fantastic things up ahead of them. But Leeds are doing absolutely fantastic things as well. 9 wins in 13. I can't quite match Sheffield United's 9 wins in 11. We know why. It's the disparity between away form and home form. But Leeds were at home yesterday. Smashed Oxford. We thought it was going to be gnarly, didn't we, with Oxford changing managers. Gary Rowett's going to come in. I think in the next game, Craig Short was taking the team. 9 wins in a row at Elland Road. 7 clean sheets in those games. Tony DeRigo was doing the interview afterwards, talking to Daniel Farker about, the stadium in the year of 2024 at Elland Road. So I did look it up. 18 wins in this calendar year the Leeds fans have seen at home in 23 games. I'm not even counting playoff football there, because they obviously had a big home win there in the playoff semi-final, didn't they, as well? Didn't win the final, of course, but they've just been incredible at Elland Road. And I think we all have the kind of perception that if there's a little pickup away from home, a little bit more availability in terms of that central midfield area with the injuries they've had there. I know Sheffield United got some players out as well. I'm sure we'll get comments from Blades fans saying that, and that they'd be right to say that as well. A little tinkle in the transfer window, and Leeds look very well set unless we get a massive freak show of a points totals up there for a promotion place. But Burnley fans are going to be saying, we're doing all right. We're at 2 points per game, projecting over 90. Burnley, again, we've mentioned how ridiculous these teams are at home. Burnley, and we're going to talk about Sunderland, are unbeaten at home. Also, Burnley beating Watford 2-1. Again, Watford are a good side. They also, like Leeds, not quite as extreme, skew better at home. Maybe like Luton, their rivals, we can talk a bit more about their skew better at home than away, but they have improved away. So it's a good win for Burnley. 6 wins in 8. We've got great stats for all of these sides up in the top 4. 1 defeat in 19. And here's a hot take. What about Josh Brownhill, the way he's leading that team? Is that an early shout? Maybe for an EFL Championship Player of the Year? I know he's playing a bit further forward, and I'm used to Josh Brownhill just being a central midfielder, number 6 or a number 8 to use the modern FIFA parlance. But he's having a brilliant season. I think 11 goal contributions, 8 goals. Really important goals, Sam was saying on the check-in podcast as well. Often been winning goals, decisive goals. But hey, Burnley's games have been tight, so most of their goals have been that way. But yeah, Burnley, fantastic. Watford got a goal back. But them Clarets there with Trafford in goal. Defensively, absolutely incredible. They're still in single figures. 9 goals conceded in 22. Let's move on to Sunderland, the final member of the Fab Four. Sunderland from behind winning a game. We said they'd had a good 3-game week with the 7 points last time out. They followed it up, so they're 10 points in 4. So Sunderland, remember, if you map out their season, sensational start, poor run, but they're now back in the groove, and what a groove you need to be to keep up this season. Ipswich did it last season against the parachute team. Sunderland are the ones this year. Momentum, young players, can they leverage it? We've seen it can be done. But as I said to you, winning from behind, they have conceded the first goal, Sunderland, in their last 5 games. So Regis Lebris is going to want to cut that one out. Joe Bellingham, there was a red card in this one as well for Cordoba, but as we say, Sunderland unbeaten at home and Joe Bellingham getting the winning goal. Talk to me about that top 4. I think my hot takes, it looks locked in. Could they possibly go 370 points, the 4 of them, to match Leicester, Ipswich, Leeds, Southampton last season? I never thought I'd see the like of it. Am I going to see it exactly 12 months after again? Hey, I'll hold my hands up if I do. Would be incredible. Well played for the top 4. Some big wins. One indeed for Sheffield Wednesday. Now, please head back and watch my video about fixtures after the last international break, because I'm going to break my arm slapping myself on the back. We were well in front of this Sheffield Wednesday run, weren't we? We said Look at the fixtures they've had. Look at what's coming. Look at what they've done. We're expecting a trend up, and we've got a trend up for Sheffield Wednesday, who are 9th and 3 places off the playoffs. But you wouldn't have thought they were going to win this game when they went down to 10 men and Deshaun Bernard got red card. I think they got the keeper to thank. Beadle was amazing, wasn't he? Superb save from a header in there. There's another one as well, and a penalty save. But you need that sometimes. You need your keeper to stand up. We're giving keepers plenty of credit today. Well deserved for Beadle. 4 wins in 6, 3 points off the playoffs. And I think the biggest story as well, the hot take is, I'm quite surprised Danny Roll didn't fancy the Southampton job. If he was really offered it like we thought he might be, he's not been in English football long. You got that chance where I was saying on the Sportsman podcast the other day, you're probably going to get a 2-year window there. You're looking like you're going to get relegated, but then you're in the Championship with a year 1 parachute payment. You're going to win a lot of games probably with that squad and the cliff edges and those disparities that we often end up having to talk about. But Danny Roll looks like he's going loyal and staying with Sheffield Wednesday, which will probably scare off other potential suitors. And he gets a win. Maybe a nice bit of karma for his loyalty there. Wednesday winning against Stoke with 10 men. Brilliant. Millwall, no manager, 3 straight defeats. They're up against the league's absolute hot hand in Blackburn, who were 6 straight victories. And they get a huge late winner with Ivanovic scoring in the 96th minute. I had a look at the betting last night when I was doing my research. Alex Neil looks like the hot favourite to be the next Millwall manager. That's the far more important narrative than any single game. But tell you what, winning at home, keeping a clean sheet just before Christmas when there's a manager about to come in is a big, big help. Great win for Millwall. The Blackburn winning streak ends. Speaking of streaks, QPR, whoever doubted Marti Cifuentes, hey, they were bottom 7 games ago. They've gone up 10 places since because they've scored 15 points in 7 games. Absolutely outstanding. Coyle looks a player. I know they've brought in strikers into the club, but the youngster is getting, I think he's got 5 goal contributions now. He's only started 4 games. No, there's been some sub appearances as well. Speaking of sub appearances, Clark Salter off the bench appearing, Chair off the bench, assist, first goal contribution. So there's an argument that even though QPR have improved massively from an admittedly low base, couldn't have been lower, bottom of the table, of course, there's an argument they're going to improve even more with the kind of full strength lineup and the winning run. There's a hot take. 25 points. They're 10 off the playoffs. I mean, they're looking good for the top half. Could be there very soon. But talk to me, QPR fans. I'm not going to complete that sentence, but there you go. Luton Town on Friday night. And yeah, Luton Town are the poster boys for disparity between home and away form. So at home, Luton now have 21 points in 12 games. And they lost the first one. So they've got 21 points in 11 games. Maybe they didn't lose the first 2. I can't quite remember. Anyway, they're on a hell of a run at home. 2 points per game. Yeah, I think they might have. Do you know what? I'm gonna look that up as we go, so no one has to comment me and tell me how wrong I'm getting this. Lost at home to Burnley, and then a couple of draw against QPR. No, they lost to QPR. So there you go. So they are 2 points per game then from the last 10 home games, Luton. But we all know what I'm about to say, that away from home, they have got 4 points in 10 games. So they're abject horrible away from home. I mean, the Derby fans would probably say it's a couple of deflected goals. I think it deflected off a hand at the last one. So you're probably looking at a penalty anyway. But Carlton Morris, late goal. Luton are confusing, aren't they? They're a year 1 parachute team. They're completely underperforming away from home. At home, they're doing really, really well. It looks a bit more stable. We've mentioned Rob Edwards. Excuse me. Take a drink. We've mentioned Rob Edwards' kind of uncomfortable interviews and, wasn't even a sense of get him out because the results are bad. Get him out for his own good, it looked like earlier in the year. He just looked so stressed out and anxious, didn't he? But I think it's looking a bit better for Luton now. They need some away form, and I think it's got very psychological there for Luton. But great win on Friday night for them, their Hatters. And down in this sort of bottom, I suppose, what am I going to call it? Bottom 8 picture, a couple of really, really important wins. Portsmouth, first of all, we did them on the watch along. They got a right shellacking from Derby. To be fair to Pompey, Derby did score their first 3 shots on goals, and it was just one of those games where you're like, oh my God, this has got very loose very quickly, but horrible result nonetheless. What I've got to admire, here's my hot take on Portsmouth. They're really good at bouncing back because they lost 6-1 at Stoke. And then they had a good bounce back run where they've... And look, let's just address this run now. So since 5th of October, 16 points in 12 games, which is, you know, we're looking at a point per game for being not relegation form. And obviously, if you start as badly as Portsmouth did, you need more than that. But they are absolutely not in relegation form for basically the best part of 3 months now. I know there's a lot of games going in. And I think there was something like 13th, 14th in the table. Remember, Pompey had 2 games postponed as well. So that table's a little bit skewed. They might have even got more points. Where were they going? Blackburn and Millwall at home, I think, were the 2 games that got postponed right at the last minute, didn't they? But Portsmouth, really, really good. And guys, if you have a player who's going to score a couple of goals in a game, you're probably not going to lose. If you have a player who's going to score a hat-trick, that player's going to win you the game. If you have a player who scores 4 goals in one game, we had it with Vacuum Bio at Watford, that guy will definitely win you a football match. Has anyone ever scored 4 goals and not been on the winning side? Do you know what? I remember a game between Southampton and Norwich years and years ago. Maybe Matt Le Tissier scored 4, but did he win? I can't remember. There's a quiz question. Anyone ever scored 4 and not won? Anyway, Callum Lang, take a bow. What a virtuoso striker's performance. Okay, first one's probably through the keeper's hands, and the last one, the centre-back is just fast asleep. He's already had his Christmas pudding and needs an afternoon kip. The Coventry defender, I can't remember who it was. Lang just runs past him. But the other 2 goals, very good. Swipes the first one in, right foot half volley. Great movement from the corner, just to glance the second one in on the near post. Sometimes, Kevin Phillips said to me on an interview on this channel, sometimes, Ben, stand still is the best movement you can do. And Lang just edges forward, ball drops on his head. But what a performance. And Pompey, yeah, they're out of the bottom 3 for Christmas. They are at the point per game, so they're projecting 46, which normally keeps you up. Yes, Birmingham fans, I know you went down with 50, but I'll go with the normal look of a 24-team, 46-game league table. And Pompey, let's say it as a hot take right now, they're definitely not going to go down if they keep doing, you know, if they were to score 16 points in the next 12 games, they would be at game 32 with 36 points. And you're like, look, just get over the line now, roll down the hill on your bike, freewheel to safety. It's never that simple, is it? But there you go. And it's not been very simple for Hull. But Hull, I mean, wow. First win for Ruben Sellers, and they've catapulted with Plymouth drawing, Oxford and Cardiff both losing. They're out of the bottom 3 already. That's an impact for you first. When we say it down the bottom, don't we? Points mean a lot, or rather wins mean a lot down the bottom, because you are talking about being under the point per game ratio. So those wins don't come very often, only 12 through the whole season combined in 63 games for Cardiff, Oxford and Plymouth. So Sellers making the difference there. And look, I mean, it's not a very hot take. With Hull's squad and the amount of money spent and the fact, were they like 8th last season or something? Somewhere up there. You would expect, I was asked again on that Sportsman podcast, check that out by Simon, the host, who's got the biggest upside. And it was an obvious answer. Well, Hull, you would expect, you know, to be moving the most places up from the bottom, given the very low base they were left at after the sacking of Tim Volta and the squad compared to others down there. You know, you've got to get right up the table sort of towards, well, I'm looking up at 8th. Maybe Norwich with some of their recruitment as well. But, yeah, Hull have recruited very powerfully under Mr. Illa Charlie. Can Ruben Sellers leverage that? There you go. A bit of a rambly long hot takes today. We had so many winners, 10 winners. Only that draw between Plymouth and Borough. I could have talked about that as well. A 3-3 there down at Home Park. Plymouth, bottom of the table. Get your comments in, especially if you were at a game yesterday. And I suppose I should close by saying the hottest of hot takes. Have a bloody good Christmas. Don't think about football on Christmas Day. And enjoy your family.